earlier on. The other ban came from Mirage when they banned it against Sonics yesterday, actually, in their matchup against Chalet. So if you look at the operator bans, Monty leading the way in this matchup as the very first ban you said brought out by Luminosity. This is the 7th time that Monty has been banned. The only attackers that have been banned with greater frequency are Ying and Dokkaebi. Both have been banned 8 times so far, so Monty is catching up. In terms of banned defenders, well, would you believe it? As Omni and Valkyrie are the 2 most banned defenders. So, not a big surprise. And both of them quite potent here on this map. We've seen teams when they play on Cafe like to bring this dock on the top floor, play over by Cocktail, give you a bit more survivability. It'll be Snake bringing this operator in. Yes, prepping a window, you could potentially go for a jump out, or if somebody goes to just simply melee at once, then you get the drop on them. Either way, first round starting. Luminosity on defense, DarkZero on attack for the first 6. First bomb site is going to be Cocktail upstairs.
An operator that we're started seeing a lot of recently is actually the Grim. We saw it both in Brazil, we're seeing it in North America now a lot more frequently as well. And it's just specifically for this Cocktail side attack where you can use Grim's gadget to gain information with those beasts. They will ping out any defenders in that area. And what happened to Grim was that the size, the radius of those beasts, how far they spread out, much bigger. It tripled in size essentially. So if any defender will be near that A chance, that Cocktail portion of the map, they will get spotted out. That's going to make those nades so lethal with those live pings from Rise and Gavin. That's 4 nades in their pockets. It's a slow setup. Very classic DarkZero gameplay right now. And that benefits LG because they're not really fully set up for sight. We still see Silent using his pistol to destroy some self-destruction to create that line of sight in towards what would be the default plant from the bathroom mirror window.
DZ on every single attack that we've seen so far has been almost sluggish. But for those that know DarkZero know that it's just simply a waiting game until they try to flush out one of the defenders, or at least expect the defenders to get a bit restless. The less experience a team has, the more likely they are to experience that restlessness. Luminosity, though, patient for the time being. There goes some Candelas tossed out by Pambazoo. Snake, after taking some damage, will bring himself right back up, but that's the very first pick coming to Pan. But Gavin dies to Azen, and Pamba botches the Candela, walking around, still getting the mirror window, though. It was a Pamba party just a couple days ago, and it looks like it's happening yet again. Feeding kills his way 3 for Pambazoo. DarkZero in very quick fashion sweep through the bomb site and take the first round.
That was incredible to watch. I mean, Pambazoo joined the NAL, and people are like, he's an Ash main, a one-trick, he's just a gunner, he doesn't have a brain, he doesn't have the strategy. But look at how he used every single Candela with such high value in that round. Instead of just tossing out, 2, 3, 4 Candelas at once, He spaced them out. The first one goes in, drops the skylight, kills the duck. Second one goes in, pushes the freezer, kills the mirror window. Third one goes out. He also kills the person in the bathroom rotating toward him. Look at this. The value is incredible. Yeah, sure, he botched one of them. You can argue that, you know, he should have been punished for it. But then you also have his gun skill come out at the same time. And you put Banba on an operator that can enable himself in those injury situations with the individual skill of the player himself. And that is how you get a 3-0, basically flawless round from DarkZero, where it didn't look like LG had much of a fighting chance.
LG responded well to where the aggression was coming from, right? You lose Snake in that cocktail position. That's where Pamba's charging from. Conventional wisdom would be, okay, maybe he'll take the...
You go in with a game plan, you do your strats, and then you're like, okay, we might win this map, we might lose this map, because in the best of 3 and best of 5, you're gonna have favorite maps and less favorite maps, right? And the outcomes you cannot predict, or you set the tone for yourself. And it was the same as you said in the long game against Empire from Coastline. Any round could have been the final round, but you never know, so you need to give 100% to try and win. We also can't give 100% for too many rounds in a row in case you lose, because then you go out flat regardless. But we are also back in the game, so these players, they only played a single round between DarkZero and LG before they got a nice little break to reserve their energy levels, but they're not back in action. Kitchen and Kitchen, the second bomb site for LG. We saw a basically flawless top floor attack by DarkZero, led by Pambasu on the game doing the entry work. And the desk kind of spoke about what they want from LG. They want them to be aggressive, be in DarkZero's face, shut them down, deny them space, deny them entries. So I like this. Kitchen and Kitchen room, top floor spawn peak, get kind of crazy with it. I like the Solace, the Echo, just allowing for mobility, right? You can figure out where DarkZero are, where they're droning from, where the drones are, and if Twist wants to get active with the yokais, he can move them up a floor to assist the roamers, or simply do this. Play passive inside a bakery, instead of dry peeking the door, being like, is there a person out here? He will know with the yokai intel instead.
Almost vindicated talking about how almost sluggish it looked from DarkZero in that very first round, only before they snap their fingers and kill everybody in the span of 10 seconds. And
yeah,
when you're a team that likes to take its time to get into position, as DarkZero tends to be, they are not a brawl-heavy team, as we see from some of the squads in the North America League. We've casted games, and we've also watched games that we haven't been a part of, where teams seem to just want to go in and get kills immediately. I mean, Slothy on Mirage is definitely a player who did it. Ashen did it a number of times when we watched SSG. That's obviously just the tip of the iceberg. Newers has been doing it for several seasons on OXG. DZ plays it a little bit differently. Whether LG can rebuff them, their third attempt now on Cafe. DZ playing it for the first time. It's been interesting to watch so far. You mentioned how Grimm's pick rate has been increasing, and he's on the board as well for DarkZero as they try to isolate Eddie and Azen, both in very critical spots for DZ to take. And now Snake has joined the fight as well, who gets downed in puzzling fashion from Gavin. DarkZero gets on the board with just a little over a minute left in the round.
I mean, this is just a great round from DC, but also a great shot from AC, and he gets shot down. There's a trade, and DarkZero, they might have lost some bodies, but or one singular body, but they gained the ground that they wanted, and they did it in a very surgical way, right? The Grim Beast, the Cabins of Fire, etc., and the Crossfire is being established, but LG, they have a second line of defense, and they bring it back to a 3 versus 3, with still a minute to go.
Depending on where these 3 dread mines are as well, Eddie's going to be able to do some serious work, not just gaining information, but potentially capitalizing on it. You see one of those dread mines as NJR vaults in through the window. Getting a nice read towards the bomb site. Nobody playing by Whiskey that he needs to deal with. Silent seems to be the closest player to him, currently inside of coat check. Bees flittering around, preventing somebody from pushing in that direction. NJR has an idea that somebody is over there. They might just be able to flush him out. Working alongside the EE1D now, as there's only 20 seconds remaining, and LG showing great patience, not giving a single inch. There's an Echo still on the board as well, by the way, so they can do work with the yokai, but DZ's gun's coming alive. Gavin on 1 HP, everybody from LG dropped except for Twist. A 1v2 as DZ marches in, but Twist seems to be able to stop it, and DZ cannot control the clock well enough. All Twist needs to do is stay alive, and he does so admirably after getting a kill.
Look a little bit shaky there from both teams. The pistol whip from DC gets them the kill that they need onto that kitchen player behind the desk. I was to say, Silent, he chose to stay in that front forward position instead of coder. He could have fallen back earlier in the round, but instead said, you know what, we'll make kind of like a triangle formation where he can be the spearhead and get support from his teammates. And you know, they tried to make it work. They tried to trade when Silent got swung out, then Twist swung from that bakery single door, and he did get 1 kill and a bunch of damage onto the second. And again, the clock being a big issue for DarkZero. That's one of the penalties that you pay when, you know, you want to set up, you want to take things very structured, very slowly, and also DC opted for a very limited attack. They didn't go for the room clear, they didn't have a lot of map control, and you can tell that when they got into the building, they're worried about the main stairs, worried about the back stairs, because there could be a flank happening. It wasn't until they got like 3 kills they realized, hey, the last 2 members are also on the bomb site itself. Our flanks are good, but look at that, we have 17 seconds left. There's one way forward, and it's through those bomb site doors without any intel on exactly where those last 2 defenders are going to be at.
Sometimes when you're a team like DarkZero, you just are a bit too patient, maybe. You called it. When Luminosity got on the board and got their very first pick, despite going down in numbers, you still liked structurally what they had going, and it seemed to work out. When you've got stall-heavy operators still on the board, a Smoke, a Maestro, a Soulless down below or above you, depending on where the bomb site is, an Echo on the board, you need to be able to get into the bomb site a little bit quicker, because there are going to be those parts of the defense that are designed to prevent you. If you're trying to rush in with 3 seconds to go and there's still a yokai up, you're not going to have a very good time. DarkZero obviously are aware of this. They know this. They're a smart enough team. But whether they know it and can actually accomplish it is a totally different question. Either way, Kitchen going in favor of Luminosity. A third bomb site will now appear. LG not going back to the top floor bomb site that we saw in round number 1. Instead, they're going to go to the middle floor for reading and dining. And immediately, one of the other most banned attacking operators, Brava, free and clear to be used, will gain some information for DarkZero on that top floor. DZ will likely want to flush out everybody on the second floor around Cocktail before they can try to push into reading. We've seen time and time again what happens when teams don't do their due diligence towards Cocktail and go for a reading execute with defenders still above. It doesn't usually go well for the attackers.
No, and poor Eddie, he suffers 1 grenade doing a bunch of damage toward him, but there's still 1 left in pocket of Gavin, so he could lose his life inside the bathroom upstairs, and he's the first line of defense, but there he goes. Eddie goes down. No nade needed. Gavin just walks into Piano. The Bravo work earlier from Canadian, from DC, did a great job just checking for gadgetry. The new Piano was entirely clear. That dead zone we spoke about during the pre-segment before this match started basically come into fruition there. They knew it was clear. They could walk on in. There was no grim gadget, but look at that. Sometimes you hold an angle and just get smoked anyway.
I'm not going to say that you deserved a kill, but it certainly looked like Panda deserved that one. I would love to see a slow motion replay as to how he didn't prevail in that first battle. Either way, back to a 4v4. I'd be miffed if I was on DarkZero.
Oh yeah, it's gonna suck. I mean, you had the advantage, now you got 40 seconds left, but good news, you only really need these 40 seconds. Destroy the floor as Rice is currently doing, drone out the bomb site like a Gemini from Gavin is currently doing, drop into Pillow, walk into that bomb site door, you're in a great spot to plant. There's no bomb tonight, but a single C4 from LG, and that C4 is likely not gonna reach that default position, so DC, they can easily make a play here.
You've still got Rice in that position above, as we talked about. You need to hold on to second floor. This gives Canadian an opportunity to get the diffuser down. LG are just inches away, but they don't seem to be aware of this. It's Gavin trying to isolate these players, preventing them from getting on in. Canadian, after getting the diffuser down, takes matters into his own hands. Gavin, though, looks the wrong way. Snake playing by reading door. That's a bit of a mistake for DZ to not clear that out. Twist in a spot to try and live, firing away, can't hit anything. NJR on the board, there's Twist to wrap around. Suddenly he and Snake are inside the bomb site, but you know what they haven't done on Luminosity's side? They have not cleared out that top floor. Snake compelled into action, diffuser way past the halfway point, and this will be tough, as now DarkZero, 1 player up and 1 player downstairs. Snake past the point of no return, wasn't able to get to the diffuser. At best he could get a kill and ultimately still lose the round. NJR decides that he's not going to let him even have that one. DZ, 1 player left, and they win the clock. They take the round.
Such a beautiful post as well from DC. They have 2 players both upstairs, and when LG they do go for that retake above, well, one of them will simply drop downstairs. It's like you're just chasing each other. Look at that! He hits the shoulder and he dies instead. Sometimes being in action and moving around is the better position. And you know, if that was me back in the day, teaming with Fabian, and I was Pambasu in that position, I would get flamed. Because Fabian would say, why are you holding an aggressive angle with your face when a drone can do the same thing? And if the drone dies, you're still alive as a player, you just simply lost the flying drone. Now, DC might not have had a flying drone in that particular spot on the map. That's why, you know, Pambasu is holding it that way. But the argument can still be made that you don't have to be so aggressive about it. You know, you can play topper, you know, red stairs, proning, holding an off angle, let him walk all the way up before you do anything and not take those risks. We know it didn't really change the outcome of that round. DC still came out on top. They have such a good read on how to attack the bomb site and where to go for it. They didn't have enough time in drone work to drone out the pillar portion of the map. So instead of going down through pillar into the, you know, the bomb site door, they simply dropped the hatch instead. And LG, they were not really reacting at all. They had 3 members very close to that plant position from Canadian, right by the bomb site, and nobody moved an inch. It was not until after the bomb went down that they started acting, and it's simply just too late in that moment. So LG, they start on the offense, they start in your face, but then they just kind of peel off and they peel back and they go a little bit more passive. I think they have to commit to a playstyle. Either full send it and thrive in that chaos, or simply try and, you know, fight DarkZero on the fundamentals. No, the issue is, I think DC has the better fundamentals here, so I don't think you want to approach it that way.
For us, since we're not in whatever voice program they use to communicate, I'm assuming it's TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak.
We're not privy to how much communication is going on at the time. It certainly seemed like LG were not aware of the diffuser going down.
Yeah.
It's possible that somebody was talking and they missed the sound cue as Canadian got in a reading with diffuser in hand, especially given the proximity of Twist, whose back was to the very same wall that Canadian's back was to. If only that wall could be shot through, they could have very easily stopped that, but that's just how close it was, and LG seemed to be caught with their pants down on that one.
They did. So again, intel is a big issue for them. Of course, Solus is great if Solus is alive and able to use the gadgetry. But Solus won't really know if you're planting until, well, you're literally in the animation of doing so. I still think they could pick up some more bulletproof cameras. They tried the echo on that kitchen and kitchen bomb side. No Maestro yet to be seen. It seems like only OXG will play that particular operator. Whereas DarkZero, yeah, they're in the attack, but they're playing the Brava. Now they're playing the Flores. They thrive off intel. And guess what? It's always Canadian, the leader of the team, on those operators, because the more drones that he has in his pocket is the more time he can spend gathering information to make the right, you know, the right call for his team and where to push those entries.
DZ's flushing them all out. There's a minute to go. They've lost Pamba. This is LG's very first uncontested first blood. Canadian somehow blowing himself up with a Rotero drone. Now that is impressive to say the least. I've never seen that before. Gavin marching into the bathrooms and absolutely assassinating Silent, and still holding on to this spot. This is a cocktail defense. DZ looked far more formidable the very first time they attacked here. LG an advantage that is now gone as Twist falls, Snake goes too, and suddenly DZ have sunk their teeth into this defense by Luminosity. Though NJR taking some damage down below, clobbering Azen. Eddie in a 1v3. It was a 5v3 for Luminosity. Diffuser dropped as Rice dies with it in hand, and now Eddie needs to retake the top floor. But there'll be a set of eyes from DZ in this position, and Gavin seals the deal, denying a second attempt at this bomb site. LG 0-2 on cocktail upstairs. They can go back to it if they want. DZ's lead grows by 1 round.
I'm just really curious what happened with Troy. I mean, so before it happened, we saw the Rotero drone, like he went on it and then he left it. So it keeps driving until it explodes and stops essentially. And so I think he went on the drone, left it, went to go somewhere, and was like, you know what, I regret this. I'm going to go back to my safe spot. And then he went straight back into where that Rotero drone was placed before, because that indicator that it's about to blow up with that red icon comes up. Well, by the time Troy sees that, it's too late. I think he just timed himself in the worst way possible. But speaking of good things that happened, NJR, phenomenal player. I don't want to say he's underrated because he's very evidently a good player, and that's a very known fact. But he is on often like the hard breach or the second hard breach, droning a lot, you know. But when DC needs someone to clutch and to become an entry, he's your guy every single time. And this is not a new thing. It's just that Pambasu has been so good in recent times, and now you got the addition of Gavin as well. Whereas like NTR doesn't have that many times where he's needed to do that kind of job. But in that previous round, we saw it. He just walks in, picks up 3 kills. It's easy for him. I would love to see a world in which where NGR was like an entry player for this team or for any other team for that matter, because I think he's the real deal in that spot.
Talk about depth on these teams. DarkZero is one that certainly has depth there. If you want to talk about how good Pambazoo is, that's fine. Go ahead. Feel free to do that. But even though it's harder to see as it's smaller in the top left corner of your screen, NJR has not died since the rehost came in. Don't believe he died in round number 1, but honestly, it's hard to tell. I don't.
Yeah, one single member died in the first round.
Every single person who's died.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was. But either way, that's still an impressive stat line regardless. I mean, same with Panba. I mean, he's 0-3 now, but he had 3 kills before the rehost, so he's basically 3 for 3 at this point.
Yeah, those 3 kills were not just impressive, but hugely critical for the round. Clearing out Cocktail, clearing out Bathroom, and then back bar as well. Prevented a rotate from Luminosity, effectively cutting off half of that Cocktail bomb site and putting LG in a really rough spot. Timeout taken by Luminosity, maybe a bit early, maybe too early for comfort for a lot of teams. Being forced to take it at this juncture is not ideal. We still got a whole other side to play.
Yeah.
Look at the kills for LG as well. They've had some serious struggles across the board getting on the score sheet.
You do have to play, but you're also on defense cafe. You're expected to go 3-3 here as like a worst case scenario, if you want to say it like that. I think 3-3 is like the expected outcome. They're down 1-3. So you take the timeout now, you get yourself into a stable position for when that side swap comes around, when you go into the attack inside, because if you go down like, you know, 1-5, you don't have the most confidence going into your attacks. You know it's going to be hard. You know it's a tall task. Mirrors open and available as well. We see LG play this operator very commonly, but the mirror windows are not necessarily benefiting LG, right? They play pretty static behind them, and both times inside that bathroom area of the map, Gavin just runs up the 90 hallway inside a piano and just kills that player both times. So far though this round, it has been a very, very slow pace for DarkZero. They are double, triple checking everything with drones. Nobody's been into a gunfight yet, and this heavily favors the defense, of course, because time becomes an issue for the attack inside. Well, once Cocktail gets cleared, well, guess what? The bomb site is no longer in reading. It's that mining bomb site instead.
Nice to see all 4 bomb sites on the board. DZ deciding that doesn't matter where they go to, they're still going to treat Luminosity to the same DarkZero special that's been going on so far. Twist and Azen, no more.
Yeah.
No damage done to DZ whatsoever. Oh no.
Oh, Snake. That's unfortunate. I mean, you can take the time that you need if you're DarkZero. If you just go explosive, you know, in 20 seconds time span, get 2 kills. I mean, this makes up that slow pace earlier on, but they still need to find a stable position on the bomb site where that diffuser can go down. 30 seconds left. Charge on Brava has 2 smoke grenades in pocket. I'm sure those would be beneficial in this round to deny some lines of sight and give him a safe passage in towards the bomb site. But
that's a sloppy gunfight from Rice. Snake is unable to do anything at this point. Frustrating situation, I'm certain, for Luminosity. They knew the location of Silent. All it took was 1 player to hunt him down. Snake being immobilized. It's Eddie in a 1v4. Snake can go on his gadget, but there really isn't all that much he can do. Easy will get the diffuser down. They have no idea what's going on.
Attackers are activating the bomb diffuser.
It would have been incredible if DZ had choked that one out and lost the round. Just a waiting game at this point. Snake at least seemed to be smirking in his camera, so...
Oh, he moved. DC must be so confused, right? Because, like, no one can find him. They don't know what's happening right now.
It's really something, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's so winnable. Like, he's not supposed to not be fighting them, right? So, you see DC are like, they're holding on to their angles. Like, where is this man?
Fighting time and space. Easy, just have to wait out the 45 seconds. And then I imagine we will get a rehost. Unfortunate circumstance for Luminosity. Would have liked to have seen what their North America League. I would get about 30 minutes of respite before the drilling began.
Oh, no.
It made for some challenging and some interesting days, I'll say that much, but it's an experience that I wouldn't trade whatsoever. And I know exactly how you feel, but the one thing that you have over us is that you get to do it from the comfort of your home. We, of course, none of us were native to Poland, so we were all in flats that were rented to us. Totally different if you have to work in the middle of the night when you're surrounded by family, friends, and a culture you know and understand.
Oh, absolutely.
10 seconds left.
Absolutely. But yeah, what an experience you can tell to your kids, your grandkids, whichever one day, right? Oh, I used to live in Poland, do this crazy job for many years.
Heading out to defuse a bomb.
That's a good one. What also is good is we're seeing more innovation here from DarkZero. A Blitz, a Grim, a Dokkaebi, and a Ying all being brought out. And anything in Thatcher. But Thatcher's a slow operator. There's no real hard breach. Well, you can EMP the door, deny any of the gadgets from working, and Blitzing's rush on in undisturbed. So, okay, the fire. You cannot EMP the fire, okay? The Vulcan canister will go off and stop a possible push here. But DarkZero is spread across the map. There's 3 members, or actually 2 members on Garage, 2 members Bakery, and 1 single member on the big window. So they are going for this kind of like split push right now. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to accomplish, especially with Pampa now running back to spawn. Gavin going upstairs. It almost seems like they weren't exactly sure on what the approach is going to be. Indecisiveness maybe, or new intel being gathered and picked up upon. But right now they're droning. EMP can go out, Gavin can fly on in maybe and see if they can get something going. Or he can walk away again. Actually, I'm so confused. I don't know. They have to set up for it.
A team that is notoriously slow and has been quite slow so far on this map, bringing a lineup that suggests speed and violence, yet not opting for either of those is certainly a decision. There goes the first logic bomb, by the way. Candela's as well to go off. B's shot out. Could this be the rush that they were looking for? Yes, it is. Gavin hot on the heels of the Jaeger, but Hambazu dies. The coverage for DarkZero is not good enough. An unideal position to find themselves in, and now the Jaeger will again reaggress. Rice, very sloppy gunplay, allowing Eddie to get that cross kill. Amazingly, a 3v3 between these teams. It certainly looked like DarkZero had lost out when Pambazu died first. Not the case.
It is such a, I don't know, such a chaotic round. Not what I expected at all. Good news though, Gavin has 2 smoke grenades. They could easily smoke off one portion of the bomb site and take on the other with the Blitz. Can just run on in. Has that shield and the protection. They did lose the Ying. No Candelas. And it's Canadian NGR though. So not your typical cast for entries, but we said earlier, NGR is so capable at doing that entry work. Oh, Snake, you gotta run away. Or just do that. That works.
The Blitz shield does not cover all of you. Gavin charged on in, but it was not the play that was needed. Now Twist fishing for a kill. Looking over towards Prep. That MP5 is a formidable gun. Eddie, another kill. He's been fantastic so far in this round. NJR in the midst of the bomb site. He's getting pinged away from the Yokai drone. Needs to find Eddie, needs to find Snake. Doesn't hold on to the diffuser, so that will be the bigger challenge. Need to get 2 kills in under 10 seconds or get that diffuser down. Both of those tasks out of reach for NJR right now. What a great round from Eddie. The rush strat, or what we assumed would be a rush strat from DZ, did not work out. Ultimately, LG winning their gunfights and Eddie playing keep away. That's enough to make the difference. First half in the books, DZ still comes out with a lead up 4-2. They also burned LG's timeout, but there's been a hope with LG winning that final round.
Very puzzling round from start to finish because initially in the beginning, it wasn't a rush, but it very well could have been. Then they go for that mid-round execute. Okay, fair enough. And then it comes down to a 3 versus 3, where I don't feel like DarkZero made the logical play. They sent Blitz of Gavin to rush up the red staircase to solo chase the Soulless Roamer. When you have 2 smoke grenades on Blitz and the option to just, run into any position that you want to, you could smoke off the kitchen double door towards the right side, run in on the left side and take that portion of the map and either plant down, maybe go for a kill, get some presence, etc. Sending Blitz up alone is like a really big gamble. Nobody was there to help him, and then nobody was also pushing the side. Either way, LG, they get that round that they so desperately needed. They get a 2-4 split, which isn't the end of the world, but they will be tested now. Their attacks, they have to be clean, they have to be great. Because if not, it's an easy one for DarkZero. They got Solus, they got the Mirror, they got great operators to hold down this bomb site. The only thing you're really missing is the Valkyrie. We don't have a great amount of intel, but look at DC. They know what that looks like because they brought out 2 bulletproof cameras. They know that intel is a problem, unlike LG. So they have supplemented that Valkyrie ban with secondary Intel instead.
Like the Capitao being brought by Luminosity. If I recall, DZ only brought it one time. It was Canadian playing the operator. Not just can you bully the defenders with those flame arrows, but the smoke can be especially crucial. Smoke grenades have not been a thing that's mattered for DarkZero's executes. Luminosity bringing just the smokes on Capitao. So I imagine outside of that, it's more about getting kills and isolating those defenders, similar to the way that DZ approached this very first take on the Cocktail. Snake dies to Panbazoo, who jumps out of the window after those 3 kills in the very first round. He had some difficulty finding the score sheet. Panbazoo wandering back in, but he's a doc. He gets himself right back up. This Canadian picks off another player from LG.
Beautiful team play.
This isn't exactly what they were looking for on their entry. LG already down by 2, and they might suffer another defeat. As Eddie charges up White Stairs, and there he goes at the hands of Rice.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
DC's teamwork is just so good in that round. Panda goes to the aggressive play, which is exactly what you gotta do to stop that execute from happening. And if he does it solo, he would die on that window jump in. But Canadian, he impacted the window to allow Panda to jump in quicker, and he covers him and trades the injure for a kill. And Pamba's docked, so while he's injured, he just stims himself back up to full HP. And look at this, DC in a 5 versus 1. Asian, last alive, literally on the roof, 3 flashbang, 1 air jab in pocket. Can't do a thing in this round. They lost a lot of drones, utility, and just simply manpower. I get why Eddie rushed up the White Staircase. You're already down 2 members. You might just do something crazy, maybe get a kill or 2, but even that was shut down immediately by DarkZero. They had the intel and they had the crossfire.
The good thing is for Luminosity, you're afforded another timeout at this point. It might not be the way that you expected to get it, but still allowing LG to settle themselves down and be composed. It's about probably the only real way to salvage the circumstances you find yourselves in. Amazing to me as well that it will be a flawless round for DZ, but maybe not. Actually, Azen is in the building. Might go for some picks. 30 seconds on that clock has been burned away as the Nomad now finding his way through the red stairs over towards Cocktail.
15 seconds to go.
Similarly to what DZ encountered when they attacked LG, defenders are not going to give a single inch. This is just a matter of time now for DarkZero to pick up this fateful 5th round. Azen might get a kill or 2, or maybe none, but no, there's no chance. There's no way that LG was going to even come close to winning that round in a 1v5 with only the Mira having taken some damage. 5 rounds on the board for DarkZero. Again, first time that they've played Cafe in this stage. It's a map that LG knows decently well, but every single time Luminosity has gone here, it has been a slog. They have needed overtime in both of their times taking it. This time they might not need overtime, but not in the way you would think, which is that you'd hope that they could win it without needing to go to OT. At the current time, with the fact that LG are now on defense, or now rather are on attack, and the fact that LG have used their timeout, I don't know what exactly they can do to get themselves back into this matchup, Nick.
It really is a matter of pace, right? And how you read the game and how quickly those rounds are going, because DarkZero in attack, they were very fundamental, they were very methodical, they're incredibly slow on half of the attacking rounds. On their second defense, they just, on the first defense, they fly out a window. They go for those aggressive plays that LG should have done themselves when they were defending. So DC obviously have a better read on this. They have a very specific way how they want to approach these rounds. And it looks like it's very much planned out. And one thing that you can look at in that round, even as a professional team, is look at DarkZero's discipline. They are 5 versus 1. Nobody's ego swinging. Nobody's doing that. They're just completely locking out LG. If you're Asian, it's such a tilting thing to play against. No one's swinging you. It's a fight. You're like, come on. You can throw some kills, right? Make Asian enjoy the end of that round, at least with some exit kills or something. No, they sit back, they don't move an inch, and they just completely secure that 5 versus 1 flawlessly. Team's gonna do that.
Information being given from Canadian, and he'll become aware of the fact there's a Nomad on the board. We're only 30 seconds into the round, and Canadian has actually spotted all 3 air jabs, so that's very valuable information that he can relay to the rest of his team. Seems to be evading them quite well, though I don't know if he revealed himself through the door. Azen is aware of it, obviously hearing the impact grenades. You might not have actually seen the operator, but the sound cue is more than enough. After a successful hold upstairs, DarkZero will use their defenses back on the top floor, even though this is a second defensive mining. It went one time on the first half. It went in DarkZero's favor when they were on attack. How can they accomplish and what can they accomplish on defense? Candelas go out, Eddie dies, and then the Hyun is cut down as well. Goodbye to the Nomad. Goodness gracious, DarkZero in the first 90 seconds of the round have eliminated 3 players from Luminosity. It's just Twist and Snake. Oh, this is grim for LGs. They're looking to just hang on to this round and hang on to this matchup.
You saw the setup there. Canadian early in that round, opened that rotate, cleared the air jab, and now Gavin jumped out, gets 2 kills, and then escapes back the same way. And look, he has a member on the white staircase too. They're baiting Snake in here. It's a trap. There's a crossfire. There's 2 versus 1. You might think there's only gonna be 1 guy, but look at that. LG with a great read. They pick up 1 and they pick up 2.
No flawless round to be had. Luminosity fighting back, but still not in the position that they want to be in. Though keeping things close is ideal. Canadian will head downstairs in what I imagine will be the place that a Solus rests in a potential post plant, but it might be a tall ask for Luminosity to get into the bomb site and get that diffuser planted.
Looking for intel.
Ooh. If Troy swings this, it's a free kill right now, but he doesn't know that. His guy doesn't have that range.
Oh my, Twist looking towards reading, but doesn't understand that there's somebody playing inside of mining. Down he goes. Snake doesn't hold on to the diffuser, a decent gun in hand, but 3 players from DarkZero in the final 20 seconds. You're gonna need to go for kills.
15 seconds to go.
Snake knows this. Premonition around the A bomb site. He gets the pick, but it's traded out. DarkZero, match point.
That's tough. I mean, what do you do against a team that wants to execute, right? They're playing the Capital, the Nomad, the Ying. They're so strong at doing that. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Well, you aggress into them. Kill the Ying, jump out a window, kill 2 following players, etc. It's such a good approach by DarkZero. And again, with Troy going, earlier in that round downstairs to clear out the garage portion and the air jab, it just sets up that play that much better because there's this DC playing proactive Rainbow Six Siege, and it's when they are the best, when they have a clear plan and they know how and when to execute it. It's been great in the defensive rounds, but also LG, kind of mentioned it earlier, you need more than 2 defensive rounds, preferably, especially with these upper bands, right? Sure, Valkyrie's gone, sure, Asami's gone, but you have Mira, you still have Maestro, Bulletproof cameras, etc. to get information. And LG didn't seem all that comfortable without the Valkyrie. There are multiple rounds when they were defending where they just didn't have any intel to work off of, so they were just standing still in corners. DarkZero, they pick up a ton of information in terms of operators and utility, but they're also very happy to just make these active plays. Panda jumping out the window, Gavin jumping out of the window, making these plays together as well, not just sacrificing sole players, but helping each other and achieve those goals successfully.
What could be the final defense for DarkZero in the final round of this matchup will come on the middle floor, reading. DarkZero opting not to go to that kitchen/bakery bomb site down below. What do you think there is that keeps DZ from going there on a very pivotal and crucial round in this matchup?
I honestly think it's a very simple bomb site to attack. You go top 4 down on the roam clear, you play buff and or sledge, and you just do your verticality and the execute, right? You want to play these bomb sites that are difficult to attack. So, utilize the fact you have a mirror, utilize the Solus, play those multiple floors. It's what the Canadian loves, it's what DarkZero loves. And the reason why we saw mining being played by both teams is mostly in part due to the fact that Mira is on the table. Because mining used to be a bomb site that you would only play if you had Mira. That's of course changed with time, but it's kind of seeing that pattern again where if Mira's open, mining becomes very playable, rather favorable, and that kitchen bomb site is just very simple to attack. Look at LG. They don't really seem too comfortable right now. Half they're on the spur, they're dealing with the Goyo fires, they're barely entering these first 3 rooms. Solus is downstairs as well, so if they stand still inside a piano, they'll suffer an impact grenade from below.
I'm spending so much talking about the teams at a much greater level and more of a macro level. At the micro level, look at NJR 10-1 right now. We touched on how at one point he was 6-0, only a single death for NJR since coming back from rehost. That is a mighty impressive tally. And again, just goes to underscore the depth that DarkZero can have. If Pambazoo doesn't exactly show up, you've got NJR doing as well as we expect him to. Gavin also pulling a lot of weight, and Rice having a good game by his standards so far here in stage 2. All of that just comes together to be part of the reason why DZ is succeeding. NJR tossing out a Nitro Cell. Down goes Silent, but Twist trades back onto Gavin. Gavin was blinded earlier on and playing keep away on that top floor. Another Nitro Cell tossed out from DZ, not as successful as the first. Ultimately finds nothing for it. Luminosity now with 40 seconds. They've got control on that top floor, but they need to get into the bomb site. Snake has an idea as to where one player is, as that proximity bomb goes off from the lifeline. Now some of the wall into reading will go as Twist just waits out the fire. The Goyo canister going by reading door. Snake hustled on on white stairs, waiting to get down himself. He can't do just that just yet.
15 seconds remaining.
Once that fire goes, Twist will break on in. Snake could have been a huge part of holding on to that, but NJR with a shotgun in hand gets some work done. Rice credited with the kill. Diffuser going down. Coverage from LG not good enough. A's in the first to die. Eddie and Twist in a 2v4 with Canadian still downstairs. And it's Rice's world that we're living in right now, reducing Luminosity to just Eddie. He's in a very strong spot on the top floor, over top of the diffuser. But DZ will almost certainly dispatch somebody upstairs. Eddie hears the sounds on that diffuser, so he gets into position, but he gets dropped. There's no way for him to be retrieved. Goodness gracious. That's the game. DZ 7-2 in a statement match, delivering LG their second worst showing in stage 2 as DarkZero picks up 3 much needed points to keep pace with the top teams in the NAL.
I don't even know how they won that round. I mean, DC weren't in a great spot, but they somehow find it as well. LG, weak showing, but DC looking great.
3 attempts on